Alright, welcome to my first ever vlog here. I'm practicing for my upcoming 6 to 8 months in the Spain and Europe area, and I'm trying to do more vlogs there, so I thought I'd give this a shot and show you kind of what's going on in my practice routine and what's going on at this particular night of practice, really. I already practiced a good amount today. I ran a 10K also, so there was like a big push for me to get my practice done earlier in the day. There's a lot of pieces that I need to finish up that I've been trying to add to my regular concert repertoire and competition stuff too. This is my little setup here, let me show you. Coffee, you gotta have it, right? And then I'm at home right now. As you can tell, this Santa over here wouldn't be part of my normal practice setup. Anyways, it's a struggle because I didn't bring home a music stand because why would you? It's such a huge thing to try to bring home. Got it propped up on like a dictionary and something else that I found laying around. I'm here in the kitchen where there's some decent acoustics, you can hear. I don't know how loud that is to you right here, but yeah, I'm gonna get to work on some Bach here. I'm practicing the Courant from the 6th keyboard partita. It's got so many little hurdles. That's really what I've been working on the past couple days. I've been obsessed with it. So I'll show you a few things that I'm working on. I actually just went and grabbed a cloth here to put behind my guitar because I'm in Florida, and even though it's December 29th, I'm still sweating from just practicing. I'll show you some things that I'm working on in this piece. What I'm trying to do right from the beginning is have real opinion on the bass line here. So it's and not have any of these open notes stick out. Well, that's not the line, but it's really easy to make these shifts sound like big gaps in the music, and this is necessary because of the other line going on. But you gotta disguise it as much as possible, so I'm doing this. So I'll practice just for a little while doing this. Maybe a little faster, let's see. Trying to do quick movements but not get tense. I debated for a while whether or not to do 1-1-0 because it makes it easier in the left hand for the other parts. But I think it's this that's better. Gotta make sure to not gliss here. This section right here, sorry, you probably noticed me glancing between the screen and like right there in the lens of the camera. There's this part that I really struggle with for a while. It's one of these concepts that I need to always keep coming back to, which is if you can't fix it in 5 minutes, then you need to change something. Like if you can't perfect the little measure or small figure, I'm not talking about an entire phrase, but if you can't perfect a small little figure or a few notes in a matter of 5 minutes and bring it up to speed, then you probably need to change something. It doesn't always mean change the notes or drop a note or a change of fingering, but maybe the way your hand moves, something's got to change. In this situation, it was a fingering. I was doing this and playing an open note. It's really hard to go from an open note to a bar and a 30-second note and get it accurate every time. So what I decided on was to just repeat this B with my 4th finger and add a slur. So here from the D sharp to the E, that's the way to go it. And I can get it pretty consistent. My articulation choice at that point changes to long, short, short, long, short, short. See, short, long, short, 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 I'm messing it up a little bit because it's hard to say it and play it at the same time, but that's what's going on. Check out that wreath. Again, not something that I would buy. It feels so inauthentic to look at the camera. It's like there's no eye contact. You don't know how you look. It's very strange. So anyways, I need to bring this back up to speed. So I'm gonna go really slow. Here I'm still connecting all the bass line. This part's a little tricky. Here, I'm going to be going... I just figured out this fingering today. Before I was going as written in the transcription here. But this shift, I do not think works out well when going really fast. It sounds way too guitar-y. That shift that makes it sound da-da-da-da-da-da-da, which I'm trying to avoid. So what I decided on here was 1, open, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. The tricky thing is going. Because this is 3 and 4 coming from a shift. It's not something you normally do, but I think it'll be fast. It's interesting. This part I haven't really worked through, following the scale. What I really want to do with the bass line, I think I want to copy the beginning here. Not the beginning, but my first idea. And then here, I developed this idea from a pianist that I was listening to play this. There's several pianists. And they seem to like to connect the bass lines when there's an actual and interesting thing going on. When I say connect, I mean play it perfectly legato. That's a really interesting line. So going long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, it doesn't make as much sense. When you're doing... No one is listening to that like, oh wow, I'm following that line. It's just accompanying this beautiful melody that's going on at the time. But then when it gets here, like the line I just played for you, that line is really exciting. This time again, so I do long, short. I like doing the this because it goes into this section. So tonight, really what I'm trying to fix are all these little flourishes. Make them sound really easy and pianistic. On the piano they'll just go da-ga-da, da-ga-da. It's like a roll of the fingers. It's so easy compared to the guitar, but we have to make it sound like that. So that's one of the bad ones right now. Can't sound like da-da-da-da. Same with this one, but I'm doing a good job with this one. I'm happy with that. Same with here. This one I'm not usually good at nailing. It's a big shift. I think it's just slow practice with this section. The fingerings all make sense to me. The only thing I don't like is the shift from the B. It's da da da. It's not great. Sometimes sometimes shifts make sense in a way that the music works, because the actual line of the music, it's this so that last one, it's like it's a shift and a movement in the line. It's kind of a nice thing. So this is what I'm going to do here. Cuckoo clock going on. You probably can't see it from here, can you? It's right around the corner in there. There's the kitchen. Let's see if I include this bit. This is where it's a really great idea to do right hand alone to see if it's actually working for you. This is the line here for this. In general, if you can get the right hand sounding really smooth and not choppy, so for instance, choppy would be like this. Or ba 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 ba. Instead, if you try to get it sounding, you can generally make the music sound like that if you can get the right hand sounding fluid. So that's pretty good sounding to me. That's pretty much it, tempo. So now I'm going to add the left hand a little slower. And what happens when you practice the right hand alone like this? You start to get the feeling in your mind how your right hand fingers should move. And when you add the other hand, your right hand still feels really confident. Sometimes you're like, okay, this is a little overkill, I don't need to do this. But it's not really the case, it's really important. A little story here. I used to study piano for many years when I was a kid. I think starting at like 7 or 8 years old. I started taking piano lessons. Oh, that's the coffee machine telling me that the heater is now turning off. Anyways, my piano teacher would write at the top right of the music, like left hand alone by next week or by 2 weeks from now. And she would want me to play just the left hand through the entire piece with musical direction, all those types of things. The next week, it would be just right hand. And then we would combine them together eventually, but you would have such a good sense of each of your hands and your independence would really be there. The problem with guitar is that when we play either of the hands alone, it's not really a fulfilling effect of playing. You know, in the left hand alone on the piano, it sounds great. But if you play with just one of your hands on the guitar, it's really effective practice, but you can't even hear anything. So it makes it really frustrating to practice, but it's super necessary. And the right hand alone, I think, is probably even more important. The left hand's so ingrained in our muscle memory, whereas our right hand a lot of times goes on autopilot. And another thing is, if you're practicing this idea of right hand alone on a piece that you already have memorized, but you've never done this type of practice with it, just bring the music back out. See, I definitely have the music on me right here. I love the autofocus on this camera. Look how clearly it adjusted to this. Alright, I'm going to stop talking about this part of the piece now and end this segment because I probably have so many minutes of recording here. That's enough editing to do for me tonight. I'll stop there. Anyways, I'm going to stand up now and stretch for a minute. It's pretty important to just at least stand up and walk around, especially if you're not exercising regularly. I think movement will be one of those things that prevents finger injuries. Follow with me. I'm going to grab a little bit more coffee. This is what I'm stuck with, this coffee brewer. As you guys know, I normally do pour-overs with a cone like this. I'm not having the best coffee, but I'm leaving in just a few more days here, I guess a week. I'm going to try to edit a couple of these videos. I just poured a fresh cup. There it is, and sit back down. Whew. I'm realizing more respect for these vloggers out there that carry around their cameras and somehow always have it pointing at their face. It's unbelievable. I don't intend to do that. Yeah, I would like to share more of my experiences with you guys, especially as I'm traveling a lot. So let me know if you have any ideas of how I should run this, because I would love to hear how I can make these videos better. More time with music, more time doing other activities besides music, like running or hanging out or going out or exploring. Let me know how you would ideally see this divided, because I'd be really interested in that. Also, as you can see, this is what I am in the middle of doing here. Installing Adobe Premiere to do some editing, about 40 minutes. So let's see if I can edit and upload this tonight. I'm certainly hoping to. We'll see if it actually gets done. Okay, so it actually finished early. So the next thing on my practice menu tonight is Lobos Etude 7. It's something that takes me so long to actually warm up into and start playing well each day. Figured I would share a little bit of that process. But it's essentially just that initial flick movement. Da-da-da-da-da. This, for you guys that don't know, it's the one that starts out like this. And I'm trying to, I used to have it pretty good I and M, but I'm trying to get better at doing this AMI scale. So the way I start this is actually by going MI, AMI. So it's, let me show you, let me aim this a little lower. You might see my cat here, by the way. Check it. There she is. I'm gonna miss her actually. My mom's gonna be taking care of her while I'm gone in Spain. So she loves this house though. It's much bigger than my tiny little apartment that I had in Austin. Anyways, that has nothing to do with AMI scales, but yeah, it starts like this. So basically what I'm gonna try to do first is get this flick down, like my hand position, and usually getting this really solid involves me doing all sorts of arpeggio exercises like this one, followed by this pseudo tremolo. So I'm going to work on those types of things, and I'll come back when I can rip this. So that's going to force me to do it. I'll see you back in a little bit. This is what I start getting down right away. For some reason, going from the 3rd string to the 4th here starts out being the easiest part, rather than, I don't know why the 1st string intimidates me, but so I start trying to get down those set of 5 notes just really nicely. Look at this. She settled in right next to where I'm filming. Now I'll carefully set my tripod down. She is almost gonna knock my iPad and my camera over. This is what practice gets interrupted by. Not a staged performance by my cat. When she decides to move, I'm gonna show you what I was talking about. I've also been deciding where my thumb should be resting when I'm doing this, and I think the most comfortable place for me is actually starting resting on the 3rd string and then switching down to the 6th. Anyways, I'll be back soon. So what I'm going to do as I practice here is really prepare each note and play really powerfully and prepared. But as I do this, I'm going to try to stay really efficient with my fingers. So I'm not going to swing out like this, like you might instinctually want to do when you start practicing this, but I'm going to watch very closely. And go as slow as possible to try to make this efficient. Make sure the point that you're planting on your finger is staying consistent throughout this entire time. So you're preparing really fast, which makes it harder to stay consistent. But that's what you're going to be feeling for when you're practicing this slow. You're going to prepare fast, but make sure it's not at a different part of your finger each time. But most likely, it's right where the nail meets the finger. Consistency is what matters. Whatever spot it is that you pluck at, make sure your finger lands right there, and each one of them, A, M, and I. Okay, so after doing this for a while, it's starting to get better. But the beginning is still giving me trouble, so I'm going to work through that just a second. The problem is in the right hand, As you can see, I can get through it pretty well. Let's see. This is the point where I start doing a different type of practice, which is doing things like and trying to get everyone correct. And if I don't get it right, then I start over but slower. So until I start feeling really comfortable. I'm trying to feel that natural reflexiveness of when you start the piece. I don't know if I record a clip of it, but I was doing this in the beginning and it wasn't going nearly as well as this. See, I find the other scales much easier because it's much less open note. These are very easy for me compared to the others. Yeah, it's the opening that always takes me so long to get warmed up on. So I'm working on that. I don't want to do some sort of like can't cut it rubato there where I start with the accelerando from the beginning, because it usually doesn't work out well when you do that. So I'm trying to make it to where I can go straight through it with no problems, and then when I do an accelerando, it'll seem so much more natural. The next thing I'm going to work on here is playing the next scale, but really quietly. I think what happens when I work on this, I get a little bit too much of a powerful feeling from practicing it so staccato and prepared that I don't really remember that it can start out very quiet. So I'm going to practice with the second one with a really light touch. So I know I'm cutting my face out here, but I want you to see both hands. And then I'm going to try to apply that here and really accent. For this section is to go like this. Accelerando through the entire section. So that's kind of what I'm working on there. I'd like it to be a little more dramatic, but I'm trying to stay really relaxed right now. This piece is actually one of the set pieces for a competition in Germany I'm going to be doing this upcoming year. You get to choose between Etude 2, Etude 7, Etude 12 by Villalobos. So I'll need to make a really good video of this. So making sure I work on it in the proper way and with some creativity involved rather than just using it as a technical exercise, which it easily can be made into, since it's so popular as like a little scale piece. So yeah, that's what I'm working on with Etude 7. I forgot to mention one of the little sections here, which is the slur section. I've just been kind of doing this every day. It's a strength thing. It's hardly a technical thing. If you've done slurs before or trills, it's actually hard to tell whether I should do 3. I think that's more exhausting. I like doing this 3-2 slur. It goes like this. It's a really difficult thing to practice because it's not fun, but it is fun after you've done it for a little while. So it ends like something like this. Something like this. I haven't counted this out yet. It's been a long time since I have. Okay, so as I wrap up this last little section of the vlog for today, which I apologize, has been fairly boring. Today I started this at like 8 p.m. and now it's already almost 2 in the morning over here. I didn't really get much of the daytime, but I want to show you one of the things that I'm trying to overcome in 2019, which is slowing down on the YouTube consumption. I know a lot of people end up watching Netflix. I have that installed here too, but I actually don't do that. But you know, I have some friends that claim they work really well while watching YouTube or Netflix, and they do technical work while doing it. To each their own, but for me, I'm always trying to train myself to stay focused on the task at hand as much as possible, and I know that I'm just throwing time away and creating bad habits by watching things while I play. So I'm trying to get rid of that, and actually doing this vlog has helped some. It's making me keep track of my practice a little bit more. Let me know in the comments what your bad habit is during practice. Do you get distracted really easily? Do you go walk around and do something? Do you go get snacks? What is your thing? Mine is definitely watching YouTube. As far as everything else, let me know what suggestions you have for this vlog. And when I go to Europe, I plan on doing either a weekly one or bi-weekly. Let me know if you think that's a better format. There's no way I can do this every single day. But would you like to see a more complete view of my day, like wake up, getting a cup of coffee, like sitting down, doing my warm-ups, that type of thing, or just like highlights from the week? That's what I'm curious about, and thank you so much for watching this first vlog. Your input means so much, and sorry if this was boring. Have a good night.